Welcome to the Breakthrough Advisor Podcast. In this podcast, we inspire advisors with ideas and pathways to break through barriers and build a thriving retirement income business. We will interview innovative technology developers, business leaders, and successful advisors, then help you organize and execute these ideas to move your business forward.
Hello, this is Jack Martin. I serve as the virtual CMO for InsureMark, and I want to welcome you to the Breakthrough Advisor podcast today. This is where elite advisors come to level up their game and learn how they can really take their business to the next level. Today, we've got Philipp Hecker from Bento Engines joining us. Philipp and I met just a few weeks ago through a mutual acquaintance, Julie Littlechild. So that was a great show that you put on that day, Philipp.
A dear friend, and Jack, it's great to see you again. I have to tell you, though, to me, they're much more than just virtual. You are very real to me, and I look forward to this conversation.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Folks, you may not know Philipp. So, Philipp, tell us a little bit about where you're from, how you got here, and what the heck is Bento Engine? I've asked a couple of people about that, and they said, "Is that the thing you order from a Japanese restaurant?" And I have to keep saying, "No, it's equally engaging, but it's a little bit different kind of thing." So, catch us up.
Oh, we'll get to the name. On the personal front, in case you're wondering where the funny accent is from, I hail from Düsseldorf, Germany, a proud first-generation immigrant to this great country. On the professional front, I'm happy to say I've done a number of things. I am a Procter & Gamble trained brand manager. I'm a recovering BCG consultant, 5 wonderful years in New York City, picking up a strategic tool or two. And then I spent the past 15 years on Wall Street at Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan in a number of capacities. I am very passionate about wealth management advice that goes beyond investing. And now I'm thrilled to be a co-founder and the CEO of Bento Engine, a FinTech that helps client-centric advisors and financial professionals to proactively advise all of their clients and prospects on moments that matter on their life journeys. What those moments are and how the advice is being delivered we'll unpack in the conversation. Last, Jack, for now, to go to your naming question, Bento Engine indeed picks up on the Japanese bento box concept. Think of bento as ready in the moment, good for you, snack-sized advice, and Engine expresses the tech nature of our offering. We integrate via APIs into the CRM systems broadly used across the industry to mine all the great data therein. Again, we'll unpack that throughout our conversation.
So I know that we'll get a lot more tactical in a minute, but for me, what you were just saying triggered some thoughts around the question of engagement and customer experience. And those are things that I know a lot of wealth managers are starting to pay attention to. A friend of ours said that the number one expense for large wealth managers in 2023 will be around customer experience. And so that's an area that obviously is emerging. It's on the radar. But more than that, I think the challenge in today's space is really to get our clients and our prospects more engaged more rapidly. You know, we were talking in the warm-up about how this impacts organic growth and how it impacts advice. But talk for a second about your view on the customer experience, your view on engagement, and why advisors need to be paying attention to that, and why they need to be taking strides to improve that.
Absolutely, Jack. A great topic and wonderful set of observations you shared. Many of our listeners today will be aware of the Michael Kitces FinTech map, that place set Chinese menu card full of logos. That map started roughly 5 years ago at under 200 logos. It now stands 5 years later at over 400. It has doubled in size. That's one expression of how dynamic, how innovative our space is, and how technologies are emerging left and right that can help advisors on a number of fronts to be more impactful and more efficient in their work. As part of that FinTech map, we have a new category which started 3 years ago, called Advice Engagement. As the name implies, those are technologies that help advisors to engage and serve all of their clients and prospects in even more efficient and impactful ways. That category started 3 years ago with 4 companies. It now stands at 11. So that is indeed a space, Jack, as you alluded, where many client firms are spending a lot of dollars and where we see a lot of innovation in terms of the FinTech solutions that are popping up and being made available. Why that is, to answer your question, I hope it's obvious to everybody that everybody wins if and when advisors do the right thing and serve their clients with comprehensive advice. Not only does that lead to better client experiences and outcomes, as per your comment, but also the advisor wins in terms of organic growth. Organic growth goes up via loyalty, net promoter score, share of wallet, and referral rate. All of that is well understood in terms of research, and our advisor listeners today will probably observe the same dynamics in their own book of business. Those clients at the top of the book are the ones where you engage and serve more. There is a strong correlation between those two. Let's use technology to bring that magic, that all-important advisor engagement to more and more clients and prospects for everyone's benefit.
Well said. So, I think if you're a listener and you haven't embraced the notion of enhanced personalization in the way that you run your business, in the way that you engage prospects, in the way you engage with your clients, there's a huge opportunity there for you. We know that from a marketing perspective, when we get more personal with our prospects, our leads, our clients, when we're able to dial in not just on the demographics and psychographics, but really what's on their mind, what they're losing sleep over, where their pain points are. When we start to get to that level of personalization, magic things happen. From a KPI perspective, conversion rates skyrocket. But the other thing that happens is clients build a stronger relationship, feel a stronger bond to you. They're more likely to trust you at a deeper level. And we know trust translates into 2 fungible benefits. The first is increased loyalty, which means the revenue streams continue. And the second is they're more likely to have that aha moment at the cocktail party saying, wow, you won't believe what my financial advisor just did for me. So in the corner of your screen, you've got scaling moments that matter. And as you were talking about engagement, to me, that's a lot of the secret sauce that you're harnessing. All of our clients have those magic moments. Some of them are age driven. I reach 59 and a half and, things change about my IRAs. I reach 72, 73, 74, and now other things start to happen with my pensions. So those are some of the moments. But talk for a second about how you're viewing how we create the personalization around those moments that matter. How we mine those triggers and how we as advisors can interact more effectively with that.
I will go there, Jack, but first I have to pick up on the important concept of trust that you raised a minute ago. Couldn't agree more with you on that front. And I'm reminded here of the famous Teddy Roosevelt saying, clients don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And when you lead with personal, proactive, timely, and impactful advice that goes beyond a product or solution, that truly focuses on the client and their needs and opportunities, that is a premier way of showing how much you care. Let's share a couple of examples to bring these moments to matter that matter to life. You're right. These moments that matter, some of them are age-based milestones that trigger distinct wealth management risks or opportunities. For example, turning 50 and being able to make catch-up contributions in your retirement accounts and thus increasing your tax-advantaged savings and investing rate. For example, turning 70 and a half, and if one is philanthropically inclined, utilizing QCDs to maximize the impact of the philanthropic giving and or optimize the tax situation. For example, the children or grandchildren turning 14 and being able to legally start earning income after securing something that's called the working papers, and then putting the legally earned income into custodial IRA accounts under the kid's name so that the kids get to enjoy the power of tax-deferred compounding for decades to come. If and when advisors do that work and connect with their clients proactively on these age-based milestones that are highly predictable, they build trust and goodwill that carries a long way. And by the way, a lot of that advice is not just feel good, the right thing to do. It's also oftentimes quantifiable value add to the relationship. Let's pick an example. Age 62. Do you start taking Social Security benefits now, or are you better off waiting until later? That is a big question that many American workers face. Recently, some researchers, and perhaps we can link to the study in the show notes, discovered that roughly 90% of Americans should wait until later to file, but only 10% actually do so, meaning the vast majority of American workers leave hard-earned Social Security benefits on the table. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jack. Take a wild guess. What is the average lifetime benefit that Americans forego by making suboptimal choices around their Social Security benefits?
Something north of $197,000.
Wow, you're awfully close, my friend. The median is $182,000. $182,000 on average that caring advisors can bring to the table by advising all of their clients and prospects on these important questions. If you focus on the top quartile of income, which is typically wealth management type clients, that median goes up to $290,000. And if you focus on the proverbial 1%, if you serve the 1%, that goes up to a whopping $600,000. A wonderful case in point how leading with advice that goes beyond investing can be quantifiably beneficial for everybody involved. Now, these age-based milestones, Jack, are just one type of life events. And Uncle Sam gives us 15 of those age-based milestones, ranging from 0 all the way to 73, the current RMD age. We also have life events: getting married, divorced, having a child, buying a business, selling a home, or moving to Florida, that not always, but oftentimes happen in the lives of your clients and prospects. And when they do, they represent major opportunities to lead with advice and capture money in motion. For all of these moments that matter, Bento Engine not only provides heads-up alerts, but also gives advisors, all embedded in the CRM, compliance pre-approved, impactful materials to leverage in multiple formats. And you, as a marketer, will pick up on the notion and power of multiple formats.
So there's a lot there that we can unpack. I regret when we may need to have you back. So and InsureMark folks, if you followed us for a while, you know that we've been all over this notion of advice engagement around a lot of different platforms, a lot of different technologies. So we've got Halo, which will start that conversation around longevity. We've got Holistaplan to start that conversation around tax. We've got Social Security Plus to be able to have to deliver the advice around the Social Security planning. But what's really cool is the way that Philipp's talking about creating the workflow that puts you in position to use those tools. And so if I've got this wrong, let me know. But I think that what Bento does is tee up those conversations. It's the trigger. So it's kind of the advisor doesn't have to think anymore. Who in my book is 62 or reaching age 62? But rather, Bento is going to think about that and going to not only let me know who those clients are and remind me, but also going to give me thought starters, conversation starters, communication tools, right? So that feeds right into the different technologies that I was just talking about that allow you then to deliver the advice. So this whole, we've talked the last 2 or 3 episodes, we've been talking about organic growth and this process of going from lead to evangelist. How, you've got to have this mindset of thinking about, how do I turn my leads into prospects? How do I turn my prospects into meetings? How do I turn meetings into AUM and applications? And then how do you turn those clients into evangelists? So, folks, this is pay close attention to what Philipp's about to say, because this is really, in my mind, one of the keys to unlocking the organic growth opportunity that we're looking at today. Philipp, am I close?
You're very close, Jack. You get Bento. Very well done. I may sign you up as our virtual/real, spokesperson going forward. Real quick, stepping back for a second, we fundamentally believe that some of the very best marketing that advisors can do is to serve their existing clients really, really well, including on all those moments that matter, all the key junctures of their life journeys. As we discussed, some are predictable, some are more reactive. In either event, they're golden opportunities to lead with advice. And you're spot on, Jack. We integrate deeply into the leading CRMs used out there. So whether or not you use Salesforce, Dynamics, Redtail, Wealthbox, Accelerate, or Practify, and several others, we've got you covered. And actually, Bento is not yet another app to put on your workstation or sign in. We live in the CRM. So there's no new sign in, there's no new system to learn. We integrate Bento deeply. We embed it in your CRM. And in the CRM, we start the very workflows that you mentioned. They start with an alert, a task in your activity list that tells you which client or prospect is about to hit which milestone that matters. And then, as I alluded to, we give you compliance pre-approved, impactful materials coming in multiple formats. When I say multiple formats, I mean PDFs and PowerPoint pages for visual learners. Roughly 60% of Americans enjoy and benefit from looking at a well-structured PowerPoint page. We also have talking points for those clients who hate looking at PowerPoint pages, who want to have a conversation. And these talking points organize the key messages to relay for the advisor in an impactful dialogue on the topic at hand. We also have ready-to-go emails that advisors can send to those clients that live in their, iPhones and are constantly on the go. Jack, I hope you appreciate this. We believe that to break through, pun intended, advisors need to speak the language of their clients. They need to know the preferred learning style and communication mode, and communicate visually with visual learners, via talking points with audio learners, and via emails with the constantly on-the-go crowd. Picking the right topics to discuss at the right point in time and picking the right mode of communication is key to breaking through and getting traction from our point of view.
That's the ultimate level of personalization, right? It's not just about dropping your first name in the subject line of the email, or knowing when their birthday is, or, sending them granny's cake on the anniversary, but it's really more about understanding them as people. And, when you start thinking about your business, you start thinking about engagement and an experience at that level, the tool set looks a little bit different. So what's the lift for an advisor in this? I mean, this is a pretty robust deliverable, if I can use that concept. So what's the lift for the advisor to get this up and running and, to manage this on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, let's break that down into 3 components: the tech side, the compliance side, and the ongoing usage. On the tech side, the honest answer is it depends on the CRM that you use. If you use Redtail, Wealthbox, one of the very modern, clean, open API systems out there, it is a question of 20 minutes or so to integrate the solution into your CRM. It's that fast, quick, and easy. Kudos to those CRMs. They've really built modern, open APIs that folks like us can utilize and integrate into quickly and easily. If you use or sit on a more enterprise type system, think Salesforce or Dynamics. The integration work with your tech experts is a bit more involved. It's a question of hours, not even days or weeks, but hours to integrate into enterprise type CRM systems. So on the tech side, the lift is quite light. And as a matter of fact, let me make a bold announcement here. Later in September, we're actually launching a self-service, self-directed sign-up capability on our website, bentoengine.com, where advisors that use Redtail or Wealthbox can indeed sign up right then, right there, and integrate Bento into their CRM. So we're taking a lot of friction out. We're making it very easy on the tech side of things. On the compliance side of things, we're very conservative. We insist on firm level preview and pre-approval of all the materials. So there we make a easy to use compliance portal available and have your compliance officer go through and pre-approve all the materials. The notion is approve it once and then use it over and over and over again. And by the way, our materials are being written and maintained by highly skilled, specialized subject matter experts that know how to research, write, and publish in our highly regulated industry. On that note, Jack, from an ongoing point of view, as I established, Bento lives in your CRM and you get the alerts automatically overnight. And if you know how to use your task list, and if you know how to click a link to access the materials, then you know how to use Bento. But wait, there's more. There's an ongoing training, advisor learning, and development element to the Bento offering. For every topic, we publish not only the client-facing materials that I mentioned, we also provide a internal use-only advisor FAQ. Think of that as our most technical document for the advisor only, so that if you need a refresher on how do QCDs work again, we've got you covered. And there, the learning intensity, the engagement intensity that we observe is all over the map. If you are a very seasoned, experienced CFP type advisor, you may not need these FAQs. If you are a younger advisor, if you come perhaps from the insurance or transactional end of the spectrum, many of those advisors greatly benefit from and enjoy reading those materials on an ongoing basis. Very last comment here for now. Laws and regulations change all the time. And when they do, we quickly update the materials so that our clients can serve their clients always with the latest and greatest.
You know, as you start to think about this, there's in any endeavor, you know, the advisor needs to understand the why he's doing this. And I think you've done a good job of explaining how engagement builds trust. I'm a little bit more KPI driven in my world. And so what I look at is, you know, what's the ROI to an advisor for taking a deep dive into personalizing his customer experience? There was a study by RBC, and what they found was that advisors that were focusing on the client experience and personalizing that more, that group of advisors experienced a 56% increase in their revenue. So it's not just a soft value proposition. It really translates into hard dollars at the end of the day. From a valuation perspective, if you've got this kind of a system in place, you know, when it's time to talk about being acquired or exiting, and you've got this kind of organic growth engine installed, the valuations go up. 1% increase in organic growth drives a 7% increase in valuation. And there aren't a lot of other drivers in a wealth manager's business, that a lot of other levers that you can pull that are going to push that kind of result. So what kind of help the advisor manage expectations? What should they, you know, reasonably expect by taking this path? And I'm not saying specifically with Bento, but this strategic approach, what should they be looking for?
Look, first off, a quick comment on your valuation remark. I think that's spot on. And I would add to it, acquirers are interested in seeing repeatable processes that can be scaled, as opposed to one-off fluky or two, you know, people-dependent type of revenue drivers. So when you can show them that you've got a system down that is robust and repeatable, that will indeed attract higher multiples. I just wanted to add that to your good observation.
Thank you.
Now, what can advisors expect from engaging in advice engagement as a category at large? It is being at the forefront of where the wealth management industry is developing towards. I hope you concur that the industry is shifting away from merely providing access to products towards leading with advice. And ideally, that advice is personal, timely, relevant, and impactful. And there are several advice engagement technologies out there that help advisors do that on a number of fronts, be it on the tech side of things, be it on the trust and estate side of things, be it on the healthcare side of things, or around life events such as Bento Engine. So if you are building and growing a truly client-centric practice where you care about the life journeys of those you serve, and by the way, their next generations, then check out bentoengine.com and the entire advice engagement category on the Kitces FinTech map.
Awesome. Well, time has flown by. So anything you want to say to the advisors in closing?
Jack, appreciate speaking with you. As always, we could go on and on and on, I know. And to the advisors out there, look, the closing words were just that. The industry is shifting. We all have a great opportunity to do the right thing for more of our clients and prospects. And by the way, from our perspective, the demand for human advice in this great country will only continue to go one direction, and that is up. When you think about the wealth creation, when you think about the wealth transfer, when you think about laws and regulations becoming ever more complex, people out there want and need human help. At the same time, the supply of human advice, despite our best collective attempts, is flat at best. That means all of us must use more and better technologies to serve more clients and prospects, hopefully equally as well, or perhaps even better than we did in the past. So super interesting times in our industry. Thank you all for leading the charge, for leading with advice.
Hey, on behalf of Philipp and InsureMark, I want to thank you for joining us today for the Breakthrough Advisor podcast. Please share, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out. Check out the Breakthrough Advisor podcast page. We've got lots of episodes, as Philipp alluded to in the warm-up. We've got lots of really interesting thought leaders that I think will help you drive your business. So this is Jack Martin signing off. Look forward to seeing you next time for the Breakthrough Advisor podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Breakthrough Advisor podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of InsureMark. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only.